do you support expanding or permitting large-scale data centers in Kansas? Basically, do you support the data centers being built here? What safeguards would you should be required when offering incentives to those data centers if you supported doing that? And do you support creating a Kansas-specific AI oversight framework just to give protections of misuse from personal data? Things they can do with AI these days with anybody's likeness. Right. So it's like, do you support data centers? If you do support data centers, what safeguards, or even if you don't and they're going to pass them anyway, what safeguards do you think should be required if we're going to offer them incentives? Which kind of goes to any business, right? The safeguards need to be in there. Like if they're saying they're going to do this, this, and this, and we're like, cool, we'll give you this, and then they only do this, not this and this, like they should have to reimburse us for the investment we made in their failed business.
Yeah. Well, there is something to like the whole giving tax credits to businesses too often. Like the risk should be on the business sometimes. It's not you shouldn't come into a city with the expectation of receiving a tax credit. Mm-hmm. It can happen, but that should not be the standard. That's the exception. Like when we really think of an exceptional business, it should not just be expected. But as far as AI goes, you hit the nail on the head with it's going to happen anyway. There's higher powers than Kansas that are going to be pushing for AI, and at this point we can't stop that from happening. I think everything we can do to prevent AI from expanding is probably it's a tricky situation because if we don't develop it, China will develop it, and it's something that goes outside the scope of Kansas politics, I think.
Yeah. I think if we were going to invest in AI technology somehow as a government, state or federal wise, we should probably invest first in fixing and finding ways to help the issues people have with having them, with the water needs and the sound pollution and the energy usage and all that stuff. I mean, there's got to be a way to do it better. There's always, this is America, we're supposed to always be able to find a way to do it better. And so AI is here, and I think we're kind of behind the 8 ball. We should have already had these conversations.
It snuck up on us though, it came quickly.
It was so fast, yeah. And AI has uses in certain things, especially when you're talking like Grammarly. I mean, it shouldn't write it for you, but like checking your spelling, having an editor there, things like that. But, it's just, to make pictures of you and your dog at Christmas seems silly. But yeah, it's in everything. I've had this argument with my kid because he's like 25 and he's like, oh, if you use generative AI, unfriend me. And I was like, hey, I use it sometimes. And I'm like, anytime I Google something now, it's using AI. Anytime I search on Facebook, it's using AI. I was just trying to do, I forgot what it was. I was trying to do something on my computer, upload something to something, and Gemini kept popping up. Like, you need help? It was like back in the day we had that clip. We had I don't know if you've ever heard of the paperclip guy. He would pop up in your Word document.
I do know what you're talking about.
And it's the same thing with the AI. I'm trying to type a Word document, and I got Gemini up there be like, you want some help with that? You want some help with that? And I'm like, no, I know how to write a Word document. I'll let you check the spelling later, and so it's everywhere and everything. You can't use a smartphone without using AI.
Right.
There's no way to avoid it. So I think that, focusing on the reality of the situation and making sure that it does as little harm to our environment and the people around as possible, and that it's done in a way that's good for the community, or at least not damaging to it, and that they have input. I think that you should have, if something that large is going to be coming into your city, it can't just be, well, you need to vote better 2 years from now or 2 years before. I think anything over, I don't know, a dollar amount or size or something needs to be voted on by the community it's being built in.
I'd be in favor of looking into that for sure. That seems like a reasonable request. With AI in general, though, and technology in general, that goes back to my education point. That's got to be my second most important thing, is making sure children are properly educated. And I think having too much technology in the classroom is a detriment to that. The recent cell phone bill that I believe was passed, it took power away from the local school boards, yes, and I agree that I normally wouldn't be in favor of that, but they dropped the ball. iPhones have been around for 20 years.
My kids had them.
You should, yeah. I mean, I think I had one too early, and I had it when I was in high school. But I see children now who have them when they're like 4 years old.
Yeah, my kids had phones probably earlier. Like I would give them my old phone, but they had a lot of activities, and I had to pick them up, and we always had to do all this communication. But they didn't take them to school. Like they didn't have any reason to take a cell phone to school in 4th, 5th
Right.
grade, right? But if we needed it, we took it out and they used it. And sometimes I would, let them play a game on it in the car or something. But it wasn't like an intricate part of their daily life until they were teenagers, and then they were attached to them. But
Yeah.
I love technology. I'm not really one to spend a lot of money on clothes or stuff, but I'll drop some money on some good technology. And I think that the only way forward is through technology and science. So it's not that I'm against technology and science. I just think that AI is, like we said, grew too fast, too much, with no guardrails. It was just like a barreling thing that came down on society, and it happened so. I mean, I've heard whispers about it, but as far as like mainstream people, it went from like nobody using AI 2 years ago to like AIs and everything.
Yeah.
It was very rapid without any oversight or guardrails and the way they're building some data centers in some areas, maybe not here, but in other states, it's very sneaky. And anytime it's sneaky, it makes my something don't sit right with me, go off,
That I agree. It's something that's above us. I don't know how much we can do to stop it. It's huge corporations investing billions and billions of dollars.
And if they don't build it here, they'll just go over the border and build it over there, and we're still going to get the pollution. They'll just jump right over Missouri or go down to Oklahoma